Right, in theory I'm streaming. This might not work. It might crash. In fact, I should probably log into this. Hello people, if there is any people to be watching. DSL says I'm still up. That's impressive. So just as a heads up, if it is streaming, which I don't know if it is, it may crash at any second. So sorry if it crashes. We'll have to see. Oh dear, it's kind of chugging along. Okay, okay, good, good. Pop out chat. Right. So, seems okay. Good. Hello, Ish. Hello, Soyuza, and hello, Chris. How are you doing? I want to be safe and keep my router's DSL information up. Also, mad props to Spencer, who occasionally tunes in. He is absolutely amazing and has been helping far too much. So thank you very much to him for helping out and doing the best as he can. So yeah, got a case in SSD today. Nice. Selling my X58 here to raise funds for third gen Ryzen. Nice. Good luck. Good luck with that. Got my OnePlus 7 Pro and love it. Nice one. That's awesome. How is your how's it doing? What have you what are you enjoying the most about it at the moment? Internet lag? Is it like dropping frames or is it YouTube or what? What's going on? Streamlabs OBS says that we're not dropping frames, so that's good. Yeah. Lol Max 58 is going on display. Nice one, nice one. If I want, I can send it to your PO box style things to see if you see what things were like 10 years ago. Nice. I'm good. But yeah, feel free to try and raise funds for third gen Ryzen. I suppose that's been launched this week, hasn't it? We haven't chatted since that was launched. In fact, there's all of goddamn Computex to talk about. I actually haven't seen all that much, so bear with me. But hand it off to you guys as well. Are you what's been the most interesting thing you've seen from Computex, barring third gen Ryzen, so far? Play the gamer? Yes, you're in India. The screen is smooth at 90 hertz. Nice. Kind of want 52-gram mouse Cooler Master showed off. Interesting. That seems incredibly light. I mean, what the SteelSeries Rival 310 is like under 100 grams, but not by much. So fair play. Hello, Spencer. Once again, thank you very much, Spencer, for all of the amazing help. As Spencer said, I apparently know more than a Talk Fault Manager now. So there's that. But yeah, sorry for ruining a gym session, and thank you for all the help. Hello, STI. How you doing? Corsair have IKEA kind of custom build loops for cases and stuff. Nice, nice. I mean, that is generally how custom builds, like custom water cooling stuff, works. So you can get XSPC and EK water block kits and a load of other people's kits that would have all that sort of stuff. It's just Corsair kind of brings their brand to it. No worries, play the gamer. Enjoy. On to tech speak, how much do we think these X570 boards will roll out for? So the high-end ones will probably be in the stupid money range, like the 2, 3, maybe even £400 range for the really high-end ones that I assume are designed to work with the still rumored 16 core chips. So if that is a thing, then that's probably where they head. Most of the crazy high-end ones will be there, but if you're talking about like the 12 or 8 core kind of compatible boards, then you're probably looking at £200 to £300 for those sorts of ones. Again, on the high end, and then you can still probably bring it down to about £200 for one that the 12 cores would run in, for example. I don't know how they're going to go about actually marketing, you know, this board can support the 12 cores and overclocking, and this board can only support, you know, the 8 cores or whatever. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they just won't talk about it and wait for people like me to come and test them. But yeah, it will be interesting to see. I doubt that you would see many boards less than sort of £150 for the X570s at least. At least until we get much lower end ones. How many VRMs it has? Yes, but VRMs are not like the number of phases a VRM has does not equal how good that VRM is. You can have a 4+1 or 4+2 phase VRM that is significantly better than a 8 or even what they claim is like 12, 16 phase VRM, because of the component choice and how they're running their VRMs. So it really it depends how it's all set up. Hello Stephen, got my glorious Model O from Overclockers today, got a packet of Haribo in the parcel the other week, nice. As I mentioned earlier, just had to open them and sniff them. Indeed. But yeah, nice. Nice one on the glorious Model O. How's that doing for you? I do like ASRock boards. I think Andy might be onto something. B550 won't be out until next year, and I think those will be sub £175-ish. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. I mean, ASRock are actually promoting a board with me. I think the review for the motherboard's already out, and then there's an ad in a video next week, I think, was it? When is it? Oh, it's tomorrow's video. So the motherboard that I reviewed, the B450 Steel Legend one, that's a like promo ad. But that actually has a 4+2 phase VRM setup, is about £100, and in theory should be able to support at very least the 8-core 3rd gen Ryzens. As far as I'm aware, it has actually already had a BIOS update, or should already have a BIOS update to support those chips. So that is definitely sweet. The only thing that I would mention is obviously with the higher end chips for the like 12 core ones, I don't think that I would recommend that board for that. I think the even a good X470 would probably be fine with a bit of a stronger VRM setup, but yeah, we'll kind of have to test them out and see really. Stephen G, not had much time with it, but not getting on with it at the moment. Left and right click are very wobbly. Not sure if all lightweight mice are like this. So I would generally say no. I don't know how well this will appear on screen. Oh, I forgot it's unplugged. This is a SteelSeries Rival 310. Let me get the camera up. Like that. Okay, good. This is a SteelSeries Rival 310. It's crazy light, I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 80 or maybe 90 grams. And the left and right clicks do have a little bit of side to side, but they really are fairly well supported. So I wouldn't call it like any lightweight mouse, because this is kind of crazy. I had the Rival and it was garbage. The buttons didn't work properly. Okay, that's weird. Did you RMA it and get another one? Because this and the Sensei that I got at the same time and the original Rival were all really quite nice. Stephen, how much was the glorious Model O? I can't remember. Get a G52 instead? Well, plenty of people agree with you, so fair play. Of course, our Saber 1, it feels weird coming from the old Intelli mouse. Nice, nice. Glossy white was £55. Okay, so that is G502 kind of money. There was actually So that's kind of SteelSeries Rival 310 kind of money as well, if I remember rightly. So if you were to return it, I think you probably got a few different options you could check out. The G502 I would say is heavier, if I remember rightly, and is a bit of a weirder shape from my hands personally. Obviously, your hands are not my hands, so you know, you may find it better, but yeah, the G502 is a bit of a weird shape for me. I personally prefer the SteelSeries Rival 310. But yeah, look at the MM710 from Cooler Master. Okay, fair enough. I want that new mouse I saw with the drilled plastic holes for lightness, and yeah, it's really heavy. Nice. How heavy is it? Hello, Joe. How you doing? Um, I'm having internet problems. Well, currently I'm not, apparently, because good old Spencer in the chat has been helping me for the last like 24 hours straight. Thank you again. Yeah, interesting. I'm good, buddy. You noticed the title, lol. Yeah, I'm okay. I've been in a lot of pain. Like crying on the floor kind of level pain. So that's great, and I'm slowly recovering from not eating for a week. I lost like 2 or 3 kilograms because I well, I didn't eat for a week. So yeah. What do you think of the AMD announcement then, Andy? Lisa Su seems to have turned around the CPU division, but struggling with the GPU side. I had to pose as a member of to chat with OpenReach about Andy's line, big GDPR breach. First of all, thank you very much for breaking GDPR for me, or letting TalkTalk break GDPR for me, and helping me record that. Fantastic. And second of all, for AMD, on the AMD side, so I think that it's an important thing to remember with AMD is that, first of all, they're an absolutely tiny company. In terms of their revenue, they're something like a tenth of what NVIDIA alone makes. And they're not only making GPUs that, at very least on the budget side, can keep up with and in some cases beat NVIDIA in terms of value for money, if nothing else. And even on the higher end stuff, like the Vega 7, sure, it's not a 2080 Ti killer, but it's still a very impressive card considering, you know, the size of the company. And then on the CPU side of things, they again, I think their total revenue is something like a tenth or a 20th of what Intel makes total again. So very much smaller company, very much less money to spend on R&D. And the fact that they split that across two wholly separate divisions is actually really impressive. The other thing to mention is that AMD has a bit of an upper foot in the CPU market compared to the GPU market because of the IP that they hold. Obviously, with any x64 CPU that we use today, Intel licenses AMD's AMD 64 architecture versus AMD licenses Intel's x86 architecture, which is a like confusing ass thing, but essentially they have a bit of a stronger footing there, and it seems like the way that they're designing their core architecture right now is actually quite scalable, and that has given them a pretty big kind of advantage. On the GPU side of things, I think that there's a bit more of a problem there because NVIDIA owns just so much IP that I think it might be quite hard for them to create, you know, kind of impressive like which come GPUs without necessarily infringing on stuff like NVIDIA's IP. And I think that could be why we're seeing a lot of cards that have very different architectures, like different memory architectures, like how Vega and was it Fiji with HBM memory and stuff like that. That's not something that NVIDIA has done besides in their Tesla cards. So yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to R&D. It looks like they're spending a lot of R&D on the CPU side and waiting for the CPU side to be able to pay off the GPU side and make that a bit better. But in general, when it comes to the AMD announcements, I'm very excited for Zen. I'm kind of excited for the graphics cards. I'll be interested to see what sort of price points they actually come out at. But yeah. Hello, Harry and Mohammed. Have I bought a 141st laptop? I don't know. What laptop have you bought? Do you have any supplements or food replacement plan in place? Yes, I have like meal replacement milkshakes, but when I am as sick as I was literally as of yesterday, I throw them up anyway. Like, doesn't matter what I have. Water, if it's not in very, very slow kind of sips. Yeah. I'm glad that the hit pieces by CTS Labs / Vulture fizzled away, and I hope their financial positions flopped on them too. I think they did, or unless they sold, or unless they sold their position immediately after that the news hit. Yeah, I think so. Unintentional slim fasting, I know, right? Harry, I've had an okay week. I've been dealing with a lot of internet issues, and also dealing with a lot of pain and sickness. But I've also been playing with some cool hardware, including the Wooting 2 keyboard. Has anyone heard of Wooting in terms of their keyboards already? I'd be very interested to know, because it's actually a really cool keyboard. And there's a Yobo and a 50cc motorcycle. 2-stroke. Final mouse. Right, fair play. Who? Wooting. Wooting. No one heard of them. Chris has heard of them. So essentially, Wooting are a indie funded on Kickstarter keyboard manufacturer. They released the Wooting 1, which is a 10 keyless, and then they're now Wu-Tang. Take two. They are now releasing their Wooting 2, which is their full-size keyboard. The interesting thing is that they use Cherry style switches, but they don't use any physical contacts. There's no actual switching in the switch itself. All they do is use an IR LED or an IR emitter and an IR receiver, and then the switch itself has a couple of lenses to focus the light in and out, and then a prism mirror that reflects the light, and depending on how far the key press travel you are, that will tell the circuit how long that light took, and therefore it can tell the software how far down that travel you are. So it's essentially an analog mechanical keyboard, but unlike Cooler Master's MK850 that I reviewed fairly recently, it doesn't have standard Cherry switches, and then only has the IR emitter and prisms and stuff in some other, some specific switches on top of the Cherry, normal mechanism. It's straight up just the IR LEDs, or the IR emitters and receivers for every key switch, which actually means that all of the key switches are removable. You can literally just pull them all out, which is sweet. But it also means that you can move the actuation point, which apparently SteelSeries have just made an adjustable actuation point mechanical keyboard. Not sure how that works if they're using the same switches, but the switches they use are called FlareTech switches. I don't know if they're their own, or I don't know if they're Wooting's, but from what I found, I can't see anyone who's using them but Wooting, so maybe they are. I don't know. Yeah, what's really nice is, so not only can you map every key on the keyboard to any Xbox controller input, but you can also, and this is the one feature that really kind of blew me away, they have a thing called DKS, or Dynamic Key System. It essentially means you can map up to 4 individual key presses to a single keystroke. The way they do that is you have one key press registered at 1.5 millimeters, another key press, a separate key press registered at 3.6 millimeters down at the bottom, another one as you come up, still down at the bottom at 3.6, and then another one as you come off at 1.5 millimeters. The really nice thing is that those don't have to be independent of each other. You can have overlapping key presses, which means that you could, say, map shift to the bottom of your W key and be able to automatically run in games. So you would light press W to just walk about, but if you full press W all the way down, that would, be effectively pressing shift for you and frees up a finger to do anything else you need to do in game kind of thing. So it's really, really impressive. And the really impressive thing is that it's £130. It's not the crazy £200 price that Cooler Master want for 8 aimpad keys, but yeah, it's really very cool. That multi-key sounds great for foreign languages, for funny characters. That's actually a great point. Huh. I wonder if you can have a modifier for that, so you still have to press a modifier button, but thingy. Yeah, it's a reasonable even if you forgot all of the other stuff and you only pretended it's just a mechanical keyboard, it's a really nice, it's a good quality, good typing feel mechanical keyboard that has an adjustable actuation point, and then if you add on top that you can map it to any Xbox controller function or have multiple key presses per thing, per press, then yeah, it starts to be very, very interesting. Also, it's got a cable routing system on the back that actually holds the cable in place. I know, right? Link to the keys, just search Wooting or FlareTech. 140 quid for keyboard. I got my Strife for 90. Nice. And Gaming Fire, how's your day going? Mostly frustrating talking to tech support from TalkTalk. I'm not gonna let that up. Best SFF case from Computex. So I've heard quite a few people who like the H100 from Killmaster, right? You can release the audio recording of TalkTalk. Do you know, I might consider it, because Jesus Christ, that guy. Do you know what, Chris? You're not wrong. So, I was fairly certain that he was lying to me on regular occasions, and so I asked to speak to his manager and he put me on hold, and then when he came back, he said something just before he put me on hold, which was, I asked for a specific type of data that would tell him or tell me the stability of my line, right, my DSL line. So I asked him for this data. He goes away for 5 minutes and then says, "Oh, I've got 24 hours of data," and it's even though I asked for 7 days, and it says that you haven't dropped your connection once, right? So me knowing that my connection has been dropping out almost religiously every 10 minutes for the last 24 hours, was quite surprised by this information. So when he came back from putting me on hold and to tell me that his manager wasn't available or whatever right now, I said, "Can you just confirm that you said my connection didn't drop at all?" And he said, "Yes, except for when I ran a line test for you." And I said, "Great. How did the engineer that came today test my line?" And he goes, "Oh, no, I meant including the engineer as well." I'm like, "Oh, did you now? You just lied to me." And he goes, no, I didn't lie. And I said, "Okay, what time did the engineer come? What time did the engineer run his test?" And he goes away for about 5 minutes. Supposedly he's looking at this data, but he comes back in about 5 minutes. He goes, "Oh, he was here at 9 o'clock. Yeah. Through to 10 and 11. 11 o'clock, 9 until 11 o'clock. I go, is that right? And he goes, yes, that's what my system is telling me. I go, okay, thank you for lying to me. Again. And he goes, and then he has a bit of a fit, and then he says, maybe it's you who's lying to me, which was fantastic. And then he started laughing at me and trying to make fun of me, and, yeah, and then he tried to hang up, and and I was like, nope, I want to speak to your manager. So yeah, that was great. Super user, I had all this with BT, put it on Twitter. Andrew. Nice. Timo, can you help me? Possibly. What do you need help with? Wasn't the engineer a PM slot? Yes! Yeah, it was! Put it up on Patreon right now. I need to save it as a MP3, but yeah. Sarna Shift Air. I haven't seen that one yet, actually. I've got the Shift X upstairs, which was kind of alright, but yeah. Spencer? No, I can't. I want to buy a laptop, but don't know what I can do. I want gamer laptop. Okay. What country are you in? What budget do you have? And what sort of games do you want to play? I was told fiber to the property wasn't available in my area for over a year, but it was there all along. Okay, that's a very strange thing. So you want an MSI or Acer? Okay. That's none of the things that I asked for. Sure. So yeah, it kind of depends what budget you have, but MSI GE 65 or whatever they're called now, 63, 64, those ones. But yeah, the MSI GE series is very good. If you want to spend a bit more money, the GS series is pretty good as well. If you want to spend very little money, then the Acer Nitro 5 is a nice enough shout. If you want to spend more money but not crazy money, the Acer Predator Triton 500 is an absolutely incredible laptop that I genuinely recommend. No worries, Timo. Nice. Quality. Yes, Spencer has helped me with set up a resolver case to get out of my current contract with TalkTalk because Jesus Christ. Wow, nice. But I hear only yeah, so the Predator Triton 500 should be on the upper end of that. You might be able to get that. Told you get me paid for. Well, I didn't know. Best gaming monitor for around £200. Probably the AOC G25 2590 FX or PX. It's 1080p, 140 Hz, free sync, very nice. Nice. Terrible. I'm kind of surprised how well the connection's holding up. DSL uptime's at 44 minutes. Thank you, Spencer, for the tip. Any CRCs popped up yet? Let me check. Log, data log. Nope, no CRCs. Neither upstream nor downstream. The SNR margin on downstream is 14.8, but the upstream is 6. AOC, it's the G 2590FX or the G259 2590px. ST best 144 Hz monitor for 200 to 300 euros. So probably the 1080p 144 Hz. So again, AOC G2590 PX or FX. If you want to go with one of the budget 1440p options, there are a few. In the UK, there's the Element Gaming brand from eBuyer, but it's a generic OEM type thing. So, yeah. So according to that, there's 0.2 decibels of noise in the downstream line from the 15 decibel target, and no noise in the PSTN side upstream. Good so far. Nice. What's the odds that it is the router not reporting right versus the cabinet not reporting right? Fractal Divine S2 or Lanely PC11 Dynamic? So I know that a lot of people do love a good PC11 Dynamic. I can't remember what that looks like. No worries, Timo. Okay, so my personal preference is that I don't like those kind of overly wide cases. I know that it's not the worst, and that there are definitely wider kind of cube cases than that, but yeah, my personal preference is that I don't really like those wide cases because they take up a load of space that you would otherwise normally have. It's just not a form factor that I'm a massive fan of. Let me check the fractal. Right. So the S2 looks a lot more normal. I would be happier recommending you the S2 than the PCO11, but that, again, that's personal preference. So I could understand if, yeah. So which would you go for between the S2 or the Define R6? So probably the S2. Just because it looks like a bit of an easier case to build in, with the I agree-ish. I messaged him a few times, but he hasn't replied. Yeah, so probably the S2, but I don't know. I don't have much experience with them. The biggest difference that I've seen in terms of ease of building in them will just be that the Define plate, Define has a big plate where you're like 5¼ inch bays would normally be, whereas the S2 doesn't, which means the S2 will be much easier for you to build in. But yeah, your cabinet pulls your router every 15 minutes, so it's not the cab reporting wrong. Could be issue with the router software. Only way to tell is get the Yukon off of TalkTalk. Well, I shall ask the manager tomorrow. Should I upgrade from my Samsung 60Hz monitor to 27-inch and curved? Is it 1080p or 1440p? Super user, I've also had new cameras run this week. Canon M50, but it was too small, so I got a Canon ACD. Nice. Artiface, I was looking at the Razer Lanely case. What's your opinion on it? I haven't looked at that in a while. Okay, so it's just the 011 dynamic, but with a Razer logo, right? And some RGB. Oh god. Shush, thank you. So as I said, I don't like that style of case much. I think it takes up way too much space on your desk, and is generally just a bit of a pain. So personally, not a fan. But if you like that style of case, then cool, nice, looks alright. 1080p, right? So quite possibly, the so the benefits that you would get from like an AOC G2590 PX or FX would be it's slightly smaller at 24 inches rather than 27, so the pixel density is a bit better and a bit nicer to look at. You obviously get the 140 Hz refresh rate, and you get FreeSync as well, which now works with both NVIDIA and AMD GPUs. So you'd also get a smooth gaming experience on top of it being, well, smoother on, frames wise. Yeah, quite. I'm just wondering if it's worth the money. How much is it? I didn't look. £150. Probably if you like that type of case. What does the normal O11 sell for? 114. Ah, that's quite expensive for some RGB and a bit of like Razer logo on some glass. Where do you see that's 199 from? I'm looking at Overclock's UK, who says it's 149. With the standard O11 dynamic, or even the white version, is 114. So yeah. No worries, ST. Enjoy. Amazon. Okay. Yeah, feel free to look at Clockers, Overclockers UK, because they're apparently £50 cheaper. Bit late commenting, moved away from TalkTalk a few years ago due to their attitude, ended up with BT, not had a problem since. Fair play. I spent most of my childhood with BT and they were just generally horrific, so yeah, but I after careful persuasion from Spencer, I will be moving to his ISP. As soon as TalkTalk let me out of the contract. Any decent RGB cases you would recommend? So on the cheaper side, there's the Fantex P350X. That's very, very nice. Subtle RGB, but very nice nonetheless. The like black and white edition is beautiful. What's more? In that sort of price range, there's also the Fantex N2 Evolve X, which has RGB lights on the front, and does it have them on the side? It might have some on the side as well, actually. Yeah. His ISP, for clarification, I just work for them, I don't own them, but at least there's a line to decent support. Very true. Will you be testing Ryzen 3000 CPUs next month? They look really good, but want to see you pit them against other CPUs. So one, I hope so. I believe I'm at least on the we hope to give you some list. So that's sweet. Second, testing against other CPUs is hard because I basically don't have any. I do have currently, and this is currently, a 9900K and an 8700K. So I can test them against those, and I can test them against like a Ryzen 2700X, for example. But I don't have, I think, any high-end Intel chips. I've got a couple of Threadrippers, so I could conceivably test against that. But yeah, it will probably be, depending on which chip I get, it will probably be either last gen Ryzen versus current gen, or something like the 9900K versus the 3700X, or whichever one it is. Do you have an X99 board? I think I have like one somewhere. Yeah. I want a gaming router, but I was told there is a certain internet I may have and need to know so the gaming router would be compatible. Any ideas how I'd find out? Yeah, what country do you live in is probably a good start, and who is your internet provider? If it works, you borrow my 5820K and benchmark against that if you want. Quite possibly. I will have to find out if I have one. I might have a 7820X. I can't remember if that was collected or not. So I might have one Intel chip. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, which cheap case with RGB would you recommend? What's cheap for you? Negotiation indeed. Nah, it's cool. I'll work it out. I like the gaming internet much better than the Facebook one. Northern Ireland and EE. So you, Spencer, am I right in saying that EE also use what's this BT's lines? And do BT have lines in Northern Ireland? I assume they do. $0 to $100. I think the Fantex P350X is in that price range. It has RGB and is actually a very, very nice case. And do you know if EE is BT retail? Right, okay. So then yes. So that probably means that you have a DSL line, which means that you need a DSL modem. You can have a gaming router, that's fine, but the router that you would have to the modem that you have to have has to be able to go into some sort of modem only mode or bridge mode, and then solely connect that router to your, or solely connect your modem to the WAN connection. You can get standalone modems if you wanted to, and you can get third-party modems and routers like me that can do a lot better job than your ISP supplied ones. Very often for the major ISPs at least. But yeah. So yeah, gaming router really is the only major benefits is packet prioritization. But yeah, realistically, I wouldn't bother with a gaming router. If you want a better internet connection, then a better modem router combo would be a good shout. But those are like £100 to £200. Most of the gaming routers are like £100 to £300. So yeah, it really depends. And can be a pain in the ass, as I found out. Stephen, what is a gaming router and what would the benefit bring? So as said, and as Ish said, packet prioritization essentially. So it checks what packets are going where, and based on what the packet content is or where it's heading to, it can prioritize which packets from which devices get sent with priority essentially. So if you have packets that are, say, rapidly firing off and going to game servers, then it can sideline your like Netflix traffic until the game packets have been sent or received, which can give you a little bit of an advantage in terms of ping, not like in-game advantage, just like a slightly better ping and or occasionally slightly better like download speed for your system that you've set up to be the like primary device. I have an ASUS I have an ASUS modem router and it's worked fine for the few years I've had it. Loads of settings. Nice. Which one do you have? I also have one. Kind of like QoS then. Yes, it's the exact same thing. Did you say you did you say the Fantex Intel X case? Yes, it's there. It's very nice. Very, very nice. I'll live on my own and switch everything else off other than my PC. So generally speaking, routers tend to do a decent enough job at like packet prioritization and stuff. And generally speaking, most of your other devices, unless they're like actively updating or anything like that, generally won't be consuming much bandwidth. It depends on what your connection is, but yeah. I don't know if I can. I can't remember if it's actually a like fully working system or not. If you have fiber to the cabinet, get yourself a VDSL modem, then get your own router, make your own OpenSense rocks or pfSense. And that's proper QoS indeed. Yeah, Artiface, I did a full review on it. Feel free to check that out. I think, if I'm not wrong, Hyperoptic is what Wapted has or is getting, if I remember rightly. Nice. Fair play, Spencer. So yeah, one of the really interesting thing that I've like seen from Computex was actually the Asus dual screen laptops. They essentially have your standard screen, but then like their Zephyrus machines, they move the keyboard right to the end of the laptop, which does make for a very weird typing experience, but they also have then replaced that whole entire thing with another display, and it's actually really kind of cool. It's something that, you know, when you're working on a laptop, especially if you're working on a laptop, it can be a pain in the ass to try and use that with only one screen, especially if you're like me and you have three normally. So yeah, it does look pretty cool. It looks like a very an almost perfect size for a timeline in like Premiere or something. So yeah, very, very cool. Very interested. I'd have to go and look. Has 3 antennas on the top, blue lights. Too comfy in the man cave watching your stream to get up and go downstairs. Look, Andy. No worries. It sounds a lot like my one, the Asus DSL AC68U. You can probably, if you have a device like your PC, you could go to 192.168.1.1, and that's probably its own IP address, and that's probably where you can find it. But don't need to worry. Happily, my DSL uptime is now over an hour. Thank you, Spencer. Is it an absolutely terrible idea to leave the stability setting to 15, or is it like is it worth me just leaving it here so that I can like be happy and have internet? I want to start streaming, but I'm wondering if 2 screens are fine. Yes, yeah, that's fine. It's generally good because you can then have your stream up on one screen and your game, you know, playing on the other. There's no place like 127.0.0.1. Ha 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 ha. There's no place like localhost. Very true, indeed. It's not terrible, but it's twofold. Keeping it creates a stable connection, but then talk turn around and say they fixed your issue and probably tie down to your contract. Yeah. Okay, I might try that when I get off stream then and see what happens. Yes, Andy, it's AC68U. Nice. Then you have the same router as me. Nice one. Mod Doppler, hello, how you doing? Just came across your stream channel. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the vids. and apparently you do. Fantastic. Nice one. There's far too many if you want to keep watching, so whatever. These streams, when I have a coherent internet connection, are every Thursday night at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you got any tech questions or want to chat about the tech news of the week, then this is where to do it. Artifice, Elgato Stream Deck XL looks insane. Yeah, it is. It's here. Actually, so let me get the OBS, and let me pull the wire up. So the way that I've got it set up, the camera's kind of overexposing it, but I've got game launching from here onwards. This changes my audio device from my headset to my speakers. I can dim the brightness of the Stream Deck from here, and I can also check out my live viewer accounts from Twitch and YouTube. Apparently there's 10 people watching on Twitch, on YouTube, which is sweet. And then the top row is for streaming, so that opens Streamlabs OBS. That is a multi-action which starts the stream, posts to Twitch and YouTube and Twitter to say that the stream's live, and then actually starts the stream. That's a start stream button. And then these change settings, these change scenes, that starts recording, like local recording, and it can skip alerts as well. So yeah, very, very happy with it. It's actually, I didn't think that I would really make use of it because I didn't end up making too much use of the Stream Deck Mini. But it turns out that having this much buttons, and the fact that you don't need to put anything in folders anymore is actually means that I use it a lot more. So pretty sweet. Given my wife's PC and my daughter's 1 meg download, for the rest of me and Max 12 meg line. Nice. Fair play. Well played. Well played. Stephen G, on another note, with the top letters of vanity button. Indeed. Does it also make you drinks too? I wish it did. Sorry, Stephen, you ended up sending your ARS 8027QD back, found the overdrive on it was a bit too much of a compromise. Speed had mild but visible overshoot even at 144 Hz, and found balance too blurry. Okay, fair play. That's definitely a shame. I'll be interested. Have you picked out a replacement option or what? It's okay. I knew what you meant, Ish. Thoughts on the AMD and Intel Computex keynotes? So AMD looks awesome. Can't wait to test out the 3rd gen Ryzen. The GPU side I'm not as enthused by, but I'll be interested to see them as and when they come out. The Intel keynote, I don't really care for. I haven't really cared for much. Yeah, okay. Their graphics, their integrated graphics are getting better. Sweet. They've got a 9900KS coming out, which is 5 GHz all cores. Cool. Can't wait to see what 3rd gen Ryzen has. I mean, obviously, for people who game on integrated graphics, that's nice that their integrated graphics are going to get better. But at the same time, yeah, meh. I'd expect Intel's RGB to get better since Raja from AMD there. Yes, also a lot of people from AMD and or Nvidia and or actually just a lot of people have all moved to Intel. Do they still hyperthread or are they meltdown? Nice. Currently testing the Acer XF24772UP. I'm finding it amazing, other than a scratch on the screen, so that's going to get replaced too. Nice. 1440p, 27-inch, 144 Hz TN, no overshoot, and somehow wide gamut. Nice. Yes, Jim Keller is at Intel as well. PC per the Intel department, indeed. Yeah, nice one, Stephen. That's awesome. Obviously, TN versus IPS, you might find some differences, but I'm glad you find one that you like. That's definitely sweet. There's a 70 Canadian dollar difference between the Ryzen 7 2700X and the Threadripper 1920X. Which one should I get? So generally speaking, so first of all, what do you want to do with it? Any experience with heat killer water blocks? I don't, I'm afraid. I actually don't have much experience with water cooling beyond the few stuff that I have I've made videos on in the past. So yeah, I really don't have much experience with stuff like that, I'm afraid. I plan on streaming and gaming, so probably the Ryzen 2700X. One, it gives you a better upgrade path in terms of the newer Ryzen chips. Obviously, in theory, the Threadripper boards, like if you went with the Threadripper 9020X, in theory, you could upgrade to the 2920X or whatever, right? Or 3930X. Either way, you could go with that, but the Ryzen 2700X will boost higher currently and so give you better performance, and it gives you a more direct upgrade path right now. So even if you build a system with, say, a decent B450 board, you could upgrade to the newer 8-core in 6 months or a year's time, the third gen Ryzen 8 core, and it should be a drop-in. Whereas the Threadripper, at very least, you're going to have to wait a bit longer. And as I said, it's going to be slower right now. I'm used to TN, it even comes with a calibration certificate. Nice, okay, fair play. It's some kind of UK EU only monitor, so not repaired on any view sites. It brags color accuracy and obviously no IPS glow. Okay, fair play. I wonder if they have any samples, because that'd be interesting to check out. If I wanted to go down the route of water cooling, but I've never built a PC or water cooling, what's my best idea to get water cooling done? Yeah, I would say get the PC built for you by someone. Are you in the UK? No, you're well, you're Northern Ireland. So Overclocked UK should ship to Northern Ireland. You can check out, I think Ish posted a link a little bit earlier, but it's techteamgb.co.uk/OCUK. That will take you to that, and you can check them out, and you can buy a pre-built system from them that is pre-water cooled. Thank you very much, Ish. So yeah, I would check them out. So you do a good job. Hello, Steve. How you doing? Hello, Gavin. How you doing? Happy birthday for tomorrow. Artiface Spencer was saying all-in-one water cooling, aka Corsair H100i, for example. And Mod Doppler, appreciate the suggestions. Have to go. Thanks for the pleasant tech talk. No worries. Thanks for joining in, and enjoy the system if you buy it before next week. And yeah, see ya. Very true. I mean, it depends. It depends how confident you want to be. You can get custom water cooling kits that will come essentially pre-made bar cutting the tubing, but I don't know that I would recommend that for a first time build. But hey, you do whatever you want to do. I think Jury Gamer can chime in on full water cooling. He can, but he's also quite weird. Isn't the MLC literally pushing connectors? I think that kit is, I was referring to the like generic kits that you can get from people like EK, but also XSPC and that sort of stuff. But yeah, I kind of am too. Anyway, anyone got any last minute tech questions before we disappear and I ruin my internet connection again? Matt, how did you get items to review when you're starting out? Did you buy them all? How long did it take for you to get sent stuff? So I think the first thing that we ever got sent was a fan from Akasa, and it was very very cheap. We started off, it was 3 friends, well, me and 2 friends, who were just having fun, and we just built gaming PCs, so it was, you know, a bit of fun and something we could do, you know, after school or whatever. But yeah, I think it probably took us 2 or 3 years before we got any like genuine recognition, and then it probably took another 2 or 3 years on top of that to start getting samples from most companies. Yeah. What vids do you have coming out? So a what SSD to buy guide tomorrow, which is actually the one with the ASRock sponsor in it. Sponsor video on Monday with OBS Live, and then the neckband headphones from One More on Wednesday, which should be very interesting. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that, definitely. Artiface, oh, see you, Gavin. Artiface have £1,000 PC sitting beside me, but was bought from Curry's, and I want to change the motherboard. Is it possible to put the CPU in a new motherboard that's obviously compatible? Yes, it should be. Spencer, shout out. I mean, hell yeah. Thank you very much, Spencer, once again for all your like amazing help. If you want a Corsair 500D or a what you call it, Be Quiet, Silent Bass, or whichever one it is, 801, feel free to let me know. But yeah, thank you very much. And otherwise, yeah, hopefully the internet is back to working properly, and next week and we'll be all good, and I won't have to fake stability in my connection. But yeah, otherwise I'll catch you guys next week, and yeah, make sure you check out the rest of the videos. See ya.